Hello, so today I thought I'd make two videos because I also wanted to answer what I thought was an interesting question and then talk a little bit about YouTube at the end. So the question is, should I change my accent to sound more British at an interview when I've applied to work in the UK? But let's dive into my thoughts around having a foreign accent in the UK. So I think for an interview, I don't think it's a big deal at all. I don't think that the accent matters so much for an interview. Because in the NHS, most people know most of the NHS is made up by hardworking people who come from overseas for whatever reason to work within the NHS. So that's a given, that's understood. I've been on 3 panels now as part of the interview panel for junior doctors at various hospitals. I've also been on the panel to shortlist and longlist for various applications, and sometimes we have over 200 applications coming through, and majority of the applications are from people who are coming from abroad. So that's a given, that's understood. At the interview, and I did a previous video where I briefly mentioned some of the things I thought were important, but at the interview, the most important thing is to have an attitude that is in line with the specialty or the job that you're applying for. Okay, so if you're applying for care of the elderly, if you're applying for palliative medicine, if you're applying for rehabilitation medicine, having an approach that is slightly a softer approach, a more gentle approach, showing more of that caring side, that patient side, is very important. If you're applying for a surgical post or an emergency medicine post, being more direct, being more precise, being more confident, being accurate with your answers and having good scientific knowledge being able to be demonstrated is super important. Now, both of these things are important in all specialties, but you can guess, depending on what you're applying for, which way you might get towards when you're answering a particular question. And just knowing your own personality, you may apply for different jobs based on the fact that you know what you like, and some personalities are just more suited for certain jobs. Having said that, I think that being on the ward or being in clinics and being with patients is slightly different when it comes to the issue around having a foreign accent. And, throughout the 10 years that I've been here and being engaged with my other colleagues as well, sometimes people do have more difficulty with patients because some of the patients, not all, some persons may find it difficult to build that rapport, or sometimes not even difficult, but they may find it easier with somebody who sounds like them. Culturally, they may make a joke or two, and they may just feel a bit more at ease with somebody who sounds exactly like them. And there's also the issue around trust and the perception of knowledge as well. So somebody may think that, okay, if this person has a British accent, or if they even have an American accent, then maybe I trust that they have gone through a similar level of education that I would expect that a doctor at a certain level would need to have. So that's the perception from some people, from some patients usually, because within the management or the professional field, most people know that if you are from abroad, or from India, the Caribbean, Africa, our Philippine nurses, we know that the training is hardcore. We know that you've had to go through a lot to get to where you are. But sometimes the general public may not have that awareness, and their perception might be slightly different. So for some people on the ward, it is a bit more challenging when you don't sound British, but that's not in all cases, and that's not for everyone. Again, on the word, I think the most important thing is the attitude, because if you may have or you may be part of a culture where people are very direct or people are a bit more argumentative, then that's not going to go down well. If you are arguing with patients or your staff on the ward, your life is going to be miserable, pretty much. So taking a step back and just trying to be as supportive as possible of your colleagues and of the patients that you are dealing with will be of the utmost importance. So yes, having a foreign accent can have its challenges, but I think from the interview perspective, I think if you do have an accent that isn't British, I think that is not going to be one of the main determining factors in whether you are hired or not. There are so many other things that will be looked at. And if English is not your first language, again, just practicing those questions just so that you can feel a bit more at ease, and just practicing in such a way that it highlights your care and safety of patients is, I think, one of the most important things. So that's what I'll say about that in terms of having a foreign accent. But can your accent change over time? I've been in the UK 10 years. I don't think that I have a British accent, but some people have commented that they think that I do. You know, let me know in the comments below, do you think I have a British accent? I know that perhaps my accent may not be as strong when I'm in the hospital as compared to when I'm speaking to my family or friends or when I visit St. Lucia. Sometimes I can't tell, but also when I am in St. Lucia, I don't speak standard English 100% of the time. I'm in my hometown, so I speak our version of dialect or broken English, as it were. So that may be another reason for the difference. But I can understand that, you know, your accent may change over time as you work in a different country. And it happens to some persons more than others. And I don't think anybody should be judged on their accent. Really, I don't. You know, some people may sound more British. Some people may sound exactly the same as when they landed in the UK for the first time. And I don't understand why people may receive hate or judgment for it one way or the other. You know, some people who have a bit of a more British accent, people say, oh no, you are this or that, and there's lots of name calling, or even people who don't have a British accent at all, you are country or whatever the words are. I don't even know. But I think it's completely unfair. And I think it's acceptable to embrace yourself in whatever form that you are and whatever's happened to you over the years, whether your accent has changed slightly or a lot. I don't think it's as important. As I said, I think what's important is how you treat the people around you. So my other not so big announcement, or not so surprising announcement, is that I may not be on YouTube for some time after this video. And the reasons for that are, number one, my weekend is becoming pretty packed with additional activities, and I may be seeing some of you for some private tutoring sessions or discussions around your career progression. Number two is that I don't think that I have done enough work or put enough into this YouTube to make it something sustainable. I haven't put the work in. You need to put the hours, weeks, months in to learn to do this thing properly, to learn to edit, to learn to make good cover photos, to learn how to appeal to a wider audience. And I just haven't done that work. So I don't think, not having done that, it will be in my best interest or in your best interest to continue to put something out there which is not of the quality that I would want. It is a niche channel. It's a very small group of people who would benefit from the content that I'm putting out there. And as I mentioned in my earlier videos, I wanted to put this out, 10 years ago when I first came to the UK, and there were no channels with advice for persons who were international medical graduates. And 10 years later, when I found a bit of time over the last few months. I said, okay, I'm going to put a few videos out. But going through the channels, surprisingly, there are many channels now who are putting out similar content, which is great. So there's a lot of advice, I think anyway, compared to 10 years ago. There's a lot of advice out there, especially for junior doctors coming across. So I think that's wonderful. But it will always be a small, relatively small group of people who will need the information that is being put out. So I think I will leave it there. I won't make any more videos for a while. If I do come back, I'm thinking about possibly doing more general health videos, which family and friends have enjoyed, or doing more videos just about life in the UK as opposed to the specific videos related to exams or related to career progression for international medical graduates. And if you have subscribed so far, thank you so much. If you do want to have some sessions booked to go through exam scenarios or to speak specifically about your case and your career progression, leave my email address down below. Send me an email and we can set something up. Otherwise, I may see you, I don't know when. I hope you have a lovely weekend. Take care. All my love, Dr. Olivia. Bye.